Hello everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining me for another Sim Night Racing track guide. My name is Harry and today we're going to have a look at the Hungaroring in medium wet conditions. Now the Hungaroring is a notoriously difficult track anyway. It's tight, technical and twisty. Lines are very important, but in the wet it's just got a little bit of an extra edge and you're going to have to modify how you drive the car and how you drive the track to make the most of it. The goal of our track guides is just to help the average racer pick up the track nice and quickly so you can get straight into some racing. Now before we go any further, I'm going to give some top tips for driving in the wet on ACC. Racing lines are still okay. You don't have to take karting lines. Unless there's a lot of standing water in heavy wet conditions, racing lines are absolutely fine. But you do want to be very careful of curbs because curbs become very slippy. The red and white edge curbs you can use, but any AstroTurf, any concrete, any runoff, keep well clear because it's going to really hamper your lap time. Braking distances are obviously going to be moved backwards and turning points are going to be a little bit earlier. You're going to turn in a little bit gentler and you're going to be a lot softer on the application of throttle and the brakes as you go through the lap. So with those bits in mind, let's jump on board. So here we go, the start of the lap at the Hungaroring. You want to keep the car on the left hand side and all the way down the straight you're going to look for your braking point. In the wet it's at 150 metres and that is the braking marker just after the marshal post on the left hand side. You want to get the car really slowed down and turned into the apex. Hug the apex curb and then get on the throttle as early as possible and run the car out to the exit. You can use the red and white curb but don't use the AstroTurf. Coming down to turn 2, keep the car on the right hand side and you want to spot the curb on the right hand side. That's going to be your braking point, the start of it. Get the car slowed down as much in a straight line as possible and then turn into the corner. You want to again hug the apex curb all the way around so that your car is on the left hand side of the circuit as you exit the corner. This sweeping right hander can be flat if you're very careful, and again use the red and white curb on the exit. Move the car over to the right hand side, spot your braking point on this red and white curb and brake in a straight line and get the car turned in. You can use more of the curb than you think you can on the inside of that corner and run the car out. Use the end of the tyre barrier on the left hand side as a point to start slowing the car. It's not really a heavy braking point, and again you want to hug the curb all the way around the corner and get on the throttle as early as possible. Move the car over to the left hand side for the chicane. Brake at the start of the red and white curb. You can use loads of the curbing on the first apex and less on the second apex. Move the car over to the right hand side and hug this left. You want the car to be on the left hand side of the circuit as you exit the corner in preparation for this right hander here. Be very, very patient, very gentle. This whole section is just about preserving momentum rather than entry or exit speeds. Turn into this right hand side and get on the throttle as early as possible because that's going to give you a good drive down this short straight to the next corner. Your braking point's at the 100 metre board. Again, get the car really slowed down and hug the apex. You can use a lot of the curb on this corner and run the car out to the red and white curb on the left hand side. Move the car over to the right, start braking just at the gantry and then get the car slowed, hug the curb again, get on the throttle nice and early and move the car over to the right hand side. Sweep the car back to the middle of the road and you can use the marshal post on the left hand side as your braking point. Again, this is just a brush of the brakes. Keep your momentum, hug the curb all the way around and get on the throttle as early as you dare. And that is a lap around the Hungaroring in the wet. So, key takeaways. It's ACC physics on steroids when it's in the wet. You've got to be so soft and gentle. You want to try and find where the edge of the grip is on the tyre and then just hold it there. If you go too far in the wet, you're just going to have a four-wheel slide, an oversteer moment or an understeer moment. Any of those three options are going to cost you a huge amount of lap time. So you're just trying to keep within the confines of the tyre. Most of the corners on the Hungaroring lead into the next corner, which is why it's such a technical circuit. There's an awful lot of corners where you're going to compromise an entry or an exit to make sure that you've got a good line into the following corner. The whole middle section of the lap is just one corner after another. Think kind of Suzuka S's. You've got to make sure that you're set up on the exit of the first one to get into the entry of the second one. Pay a lot of attention to that section in your practice because there's a huge amount of time to be gained there. Really the best lines for this track in the wet are just to hug all of the apex curbs. You can V them off or you can attack them at more of a U shape, but to be honest I think in the wet the shortest possible route to the finish is going to be the fastest one. So yeah, I think that's about it. Just be very gentle and careful. Always think one or two corners ahead of where you are currently on the lap and just be smooth. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. You're going to want to take more speed into things than you actually can. Just work within the confines of the tyre and you'll be okay. So that's about it from me. Thank you very much again for watching from everybody at Sim Night Racing. I'll play the lap again without commentary just so you can have another look at it. Good luck with all your practice and see you on the track. Goodbye.